How is it going, everybody? Welcome to a Paws Up preview that's not covering a football game. It is actually, we're shifting towards basketball as we've got a big game coming up. It's the FIU Panthers at the Watsco Center taking on the Miami Hurricanes. UCG, if you will, should be, in my opinion, what could be a marquee showdown, Kevin. I feel like you might agree. This game has a lot of implications for FIU, specifically as we start to get closer and closer to the conference stretch of the season.
No implications, I would say. I would disagree with that. But it is a big game. It's a game where you could show, you go up against a team that's in your backyard, and you have an opportunity to go out there and pull off the upset against the Miami team that hasn't lost to a mid-major. They've lost two big games. I think they lost to UF, and they lost to another team, a really good team. BYU, exactly. So, you go out there and you could be Miami's third loss of the season. That would be pretty cool. But implications-wise, no, there's no implications here. It's a pay game. We all know that, a buy game, whatever you want to call it. FIU is going to go out there and hopefully shock the world, because they would legitimately be shocking the world if they win this one.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where the implication comes in. This would be a great eye test for FIU, depending on how good they perform against the Canes, which, like you said, they only have a couple of losses, and they were against a couple of ranked opponents. So to walk into their joint and beat them would be something special. It's what FIU almost did the last time these two teams played in Coral Gables. Now, before we continue any further, we do have some developments, Kevin, relating to FIU football. We can't stop talking about FIU football, not even for a basketball-oriented preview. But we have good reason, Kev. We have those travel plans by FIU Athletics ready to go. What the bowl, the Dallas travel package, the First Responder Bowl, FIU UTSA. Unrelated to this, but the Roadrunners are, I think, 8 1/2 favorites last I checked, Kevin. So that's interesting.
I mean, rightfully so.
Right.
I don't know why people think that FIU has a really good shot at winning this game. A 6-6 team in the American is not bad at all. UTSA is a very good football team, guys. We'll talk more about it in the preview, but 8 1/2 is more than fair. I just want to be very clear about that. I think you're just riding the high of a 4-game winning streak. A little too much.
How much was Western Kentucky favored by when we went to Bowling Green?
That's not the point.
11 1/2 or something. I feel good about this team.
This is a game in the American, and we do not know if Josiah McGrew, Mr. Clark, Daniel Michelle, and I'm missing another name who entered the transfer portal. We don't know if those guys are coming to play the game or not. So
did you mention Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle, I did mention.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
I'm missing. Victor Evans.
Oh yeah,
I think he's off the game, but we'll confirm on Tuesday with Willie.
If you want to potentially watch some magical type ish, and potentially see FIU go to Dallas and get a bowl win, you consider the Dallas travel package. It's $345 plus tax, but you do get quite a bit, Kevin. You get round trip between FIU from Miami to Dallas and Dallas and back. The flight leaves Miami the morning of and returns, I think the day of too, or maybe the day after. I'm not too sure. You can get transportation between the airport and the stadium in Dallas too. You get an alumni tailgate ticket. FIU will have an alumni tailgate party outside the stadium somewhere. You'll also get a swag / merch pack, which should be interesting. I'm really curious to see what's in that, Kevin. Breakfast and dinner included. It does not include the ticket to the game, but I think you can also get that separately from the FIU website. Yeah, yes, you can. That alumni tailgate ticket, by the way, includes food and up to 3 drink tickets, Kevin. So you can get a little crazy there, and what should be a pretty fun atmosphere before that game at Gerald Ford Stadium. So if you are interested, go to the FIU Athletics website. You'll find it there on FIUsports.com/Bowl Central. So it's plastered all over the FIU Athletics website, just so you know. So with our mandated football talk out of the way, Kevin, and I guess now's a good time to mention we will be, of course, dropping a preview next week.
The game's on the 26th.
We're dropping on the 23rd. So the Tuesday after next is when you will see our talk on who we think is going to win the this game. Spoiler alert, I have everything ready, Kev. I have the bowl game stuff, as you can see right here. Look at all that. Look at all that. Yeah, that looks sick. And
well, wait a minute.
Listen, we're going to have to make some picks ahead of time because there's going to be a few bowl games that'll happen before.
We have to record a separate video doing that.
Yeah, no, I'll just write them down. Maybe like right after this, we'll write them down, and then I'll go over who we picked in the actual preview. For the ones that haven't happened, there's still like majority will not happen when that drops. I think
we don't need to play a set.
Yeah, though I do have it here though, but here. And that's all you're getting. But it was interesting. No, it wasn't. But now we can
just as bad as I expected.
We can finally, Kevin. You're sounding like a negative Nancy talking about this bowl game. You better.
Well, first, we're not going to be there. Number 2, it's the day after Christmas. Number 3, UTSA is a really good team. Number 4, the game's pretty late. It's at 8 p.m. I think it's a pretty late start time here in the Eastern time zone. So it's disappointing overall. But
number 5.
Unfortunately, I guess GFed's going to be there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, GFed's going to be. It was either that or the Boca.
He called it one of the more irrelevant bowl games, so I kind of hate him for that.
Damn,
but he's not wrong. But again, he didn't reply to FIU football's DM trying to get a credential, and then he starts on his video how he doesn't have access when he had a credential waiting for him. But that's his choice.
We have a basketball game coming up that I think is going to be pretty interesting.
We should talk about the season before this basketball game, though, because
yes, but we need to paint the picture here, Kevin. How is FIU running into this game? Not too shabby. I mean, if I told you that the Panthers heading into this game on December the 16th would be 5-3, with their only losses coming to a big team in Nebraska, big team in JMU, and one of the better teams in the Sun Belt, James Madison, you would feel pretty good.
I mean, realistically, like you look at the JMU game, and you really should have won that one just the way it was going. But you look at the last 3 games, Omaha, who they were one of the better teams in their conference going into the season. FGCU, who was a really good ASUN team last season. Jacksonville, too. I believe they're a really good team in the ASUN. So the ASUN tour, I think, ended there. You still, have a couple more games left. Miami is your last true good opponent. But overall, I mean, it's night and day from what we saw last year, Jake. Like that is 100% the truth. Like
I still remember it though, and I know you remember it like the back of your hand how close they got.
But I by the time this comes out, the preview will be out. So I wrote this in the preview. Whatever happened at the Watsco Center in 2022 does not matter anymore because the only player that still stands from that FIU team is Renato Ruiz, who did not even play in the game.
GOAT. And
just, that's it. No, I haven't checked the Miami team in depth, but that's it. Like he's the only one left from both teams. So, and Jim Larinaga is not even the coach. So it's Jai Lucas, who was the Duke assistant last year and comes over from Miami. So you look at both teams and Miami's a good team. They're a good team, no doubt about it. They have some good wins, but they've been blowing opponents out left and right. And I think FIU is going to give them a good challenge.
I think so too.
I don't know how good or bad Southern Miss is in men's basketball, but just to say the least, yeah, I mean, Southern Miss hasn't been great on the schedule right here. They played Southern Miss. Yeah, they're 6-5, so they're not a terrible team, but they lost to Miami 88-64. So they got blown out. And then you look at ULM, they got blown out too. So Miami's played some mid-major teams and they've just blown them out of the water. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I think overall, I mean, these are 2 new teams, completely new teams. Canes right now find themselves 9-2. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Only losses to Florida and BYU. Number 10 Florida, number 9 BYU. They beat a really good Ole Miss team, but they haven't really played any tough competition. I mean, they started their season off against Jacksonville, Bethune-Cookman, Stetson, dropped 100 on Bethune and Stetson, blew the brakes out of Jacksonville, lost to Florida, 82-68, killed Elon, killed Delaware State, lost to BYU, kept it close with Georgetown, kept it close with Ole Miss, still won by double digits, and then they've blown out their last two opponents. So the way I look at it is FIU is a really good shot. Like, regardless of how you put it, FIU is a really good shot. I need to do a little bit more research on Miami, but this is going to be a fun game. Last year, not last year, 2 years ago, Jake, we were both at this game.
Yeah.
And I think I speak for everyone when I say that there were more FIU fans than Miami fans. Again, it was a down year for Miami during that time, but Jake, don't forget, there were FIU chants. Like,
no, there definitely were.
There was a tailgate before the game for FIU fans, I was told. I don't know if that'll be the case. I did hear the band will be there, that our FIU band will be at the Watsco Center for this one.
Oh, yeah?
So, per sources, the University of Miami band isn't all there, so they're trying to get as many as they can out to the game. So, they're scrambling to get a band together. FIU may have a little bit of home, some advantage there when it comes to fan attendance. And this game 2 years ago was played, I believe, during winter break. So, that's all I need to know. And oh, I lied. It wasn't during winter break. It was in November. So who knows? Okay. We'll see. But I'm excited for this one. I feel like anytime you play an in-state team, you should feel a little bit more juice. But when you play the University of Miami, a team that you almost beat last time, same coach, JB, like, you got to feel somewhat excited. And you're playing good ball. I mean, you blew out Omaha. You kept it close with FGCU, but realistically, I would say you blew them out. They were leading the whole game. And then Jacksonville, you blew the brakes out of. And JMU, you kept it close against LSU. Nebraska, you kept it close for a little bit until you really started losing in the second half. But this FIU team's different. I think it's different than what we've seen in the last couple of years. We could go into some key names on this team because lately some guys have really come on. Yeah. And obviously then you have, the stud, Corey Stevenson. But I feel excited for this game. I know, unfortunately, I know you can't be there, but Rick will be there covering the Canes. I'll be there covering FIU, and it should be a fun one.
Wait a second. Rick, who is a member of the glorious Paws Up GC group chat, if you know, you know, he's covering who? The other team?
Well, he's going to come on here and talk about the Canes, right?
He really gets around, doesn't he? How about that? By the way, after Miami, FIU's final non-con games are LIU and Trinity, which hopefully should be a laugher, just like it was, I believe last year, maybe 2 years ago.
No, this is a different Trinity. This is Trinity College of Jacksonville.
It's a what? There's multiple Trinities in the.
They've only played them once, which is in 2015. FIU blew the brakes out of them, 71-39.
Well, let's hope it's the same thing again. Their first CUSA game is on the 28th at home against Liberty. That's at 2:00.
That'll be great. That's a great conference opener.
By the way, I guess there will be two nationally televised games for FIU against CUSA schools. I believe the first is at Liberty on the 19th, and I think the next.
I didn't even realize that. FIU does have two CBS.
Yeah, CBS Sports Network for Liberty. I think it's Sam Houston on the 26th.
Sam Houston, yep, on the 26th of February. Yeah, wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And obviously, I guess, I don't know, do you consider the Miami game nationally televised?
It's ACC Network Extra. I think you need to have an ESPN Plus and then a sports and then a TV thing. Like it's a whole.
Seeloff, the Marlins radio play-by-play, or not radio, the Marlins TV play-by-play guy doing that game for FIU.
So is that right? How about that? That's pretty neat.
He did the last one too between these two teams, so it should be a good one.
Okay. Since we're talking about other sports, real quick, shout out to Air Miami. Winning the MLS Cups, bringing another trophy to South Florida. And, they're heading over to Freedom Park next season. It's like right next to the airport, Kevin. That should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's a close drive for me.
Yeah, it's a close drive. And literally their opening match of the new stadium, they get to hang a banner. That's pretty awesome. Pretty cool how that's all transpired. So here's the thing, Kevin. I don't have to ask you who's the best returning player for FIU because that's like, come on now. So I just have to ask you between Corey Stevenson, maybe Jackson, who leads the team in assists and steals. Is Stevenson right now the front runner for team MVP in your eyes? Do you maybe look somewhere else? If it's not Stevenson, who would it be?
Stevenson should be up there for Conference USA Player of the Year, in my opinion. Like the season he's having is insane. He is having an awesome season for this FIU team. He is currently averaging, I'm trying to find it,
near a double-double. He's almost averaging a double-double.
He is almost averaging a double-double. He's averaging 17 points per game, 8 rebounds,
2 assists.
Also 2 assists. Like he has 4 blocks on the season, but he has 33 offensive rebounds, which is crazy. He leads the conference in offensive rebounds. Man, FIU is the 3rd best offense in the conference, which you wouldn't have been saying that last season. And remember, one really big issue for this FIU team was rebounding in the last couple of years. They find themselves in the middle of the pack, and a big reason for that is Corey Stevenson. But team offensive rebounds, FIU's 3rd in Conference USA.
Nice.
Defensive rebounds, 7th. Not great, but not terrible either. So it's doable. And FIU doesn't allow a lot of FIU allows the most rebounds in Conference USA, which isn't good.
That's not bueno.
No, but it's not terrible either, because then you have Western, who's a really good team, who allows 40. But yeah, this FIU team is night and day, so much better. Like 3-point percentage, FIU 2nd in the conference and 3-point percentage. Opponent 3-point percentage, FIU is 6th, which is good, which technically is 7th in the conference, which isn't terrible. Yeah. But man, Jake, like you look at this FIU team, it starts with Corey Stevenson, who's been great. As we noted, he leads the team in scoring, leads the team in rebound, which isn't great when you think of the position that he plays.
Yeah.
But he's good, man. He's good. He's really good. I love Corey Stevenson. I think he's awesome. And I was talking to some people about this. I think Corey Stevenson is the best player FIU's had since Denver Jones. So that shows how good he is. Then you have the other pieces right here, like Eric Debami, the freshman center from Miami Prep. He's a freshman, but he doesn't play. You wouldn't think he's a freshman.
Yeah.
Tall dude. He's really come on these last couple games for this FIU team. Had 14 points against Jacksonville, 10 points against FGCU. He had a nice game against Nebraska, but he's dealt with a lot of injury. So, he's really been a little bit on and off so far for this FIU team, but he's certainly been a big factor so far for FIU. He is currently 4th in the conference in block shots. And then the other guy, Hamed Olayinka, which is Larry Olayinka, he's number 2 in the conference in block shots, but he leads the team in field goal percentage outside of Renato Ruiz, which he hasn't played a lot. I won't count it.
GOAT. I'm sorry.
You're right. But this starting five, the starting 5 is Dottie Jackson, who's been really able to move the ball a lot, and when he has to score, and he does it. Then you have Ashton Williamson, who's had a really up and down season, but I think he's a good ball maneuverer, if that makes sense. Good guy who passes the ball well. Corey Stevenson, who is a stud, is your team leader in almost every statistical guy. He's your guy. He's your number 1 scoring option. And then you have the bigs, Olayinka and Debami, who have been a really refreshing addition for this team, who lacked 2 really good big men. And then you have your bench of Britt Harris, who's really been a fun guy to watch. Like, he's been a sniper for this team when it comes to the 3-point ball. Got off to a slow start, but really got it going after that. I really think he's come on for this team as of late. He has made the 2nd most 3-pointers. Julian Mackey, this guy has such an interesting story, Jake. Like, he's been at 5 different schools in 5 different years. So he's been at one school each year, and FIU is now his last stop. But he's been such a spark plug off the bench. He could really make the case to start for this FIU team. And then just really quickly going down the line, I mean, you have Ibrahim Elijahwan, who didn't play the last 2 years, didn't play last year at all for FIU, maybe played a couple games, but he's really taken on a role. Kennedy Brown, who's a JUCO transfer, the last guy they got from the transfer portal. He's been a nice, refreshing addition for this team. Who else? Tiago Sukatsky, who is the other Miami Prep freshman. He's more of a ball maneuverer guy. Got a true point guard. He's going to pass the ball. He's going to get things going. He's going to get a lot of steals. He's going to cause turnovers. good defender. I like what I've seen from him so far. And Amarion Nimmer's just a guy who's going to shoot a lot of three-pointers, come in late into a game if you need it, if you're up by a couple, by double digits. So this is a good FIU team. I think a lot of the issues that we saw last season are being addressed this season, and they're night and day different.
Some other stats to point out. You mentioned ball maneuverability, which I don't know if that's the correct term or not, but it's checking out, I think, all over this FIU squad. Case in point, they have they average the second most assists in Conference USA, only behind Liberty, 17.8 for the Panthers. And then FIU is averaging the most steals in Conference USA with 11.1 and the most blocks in Conference USA with 5.2. So what I find really interesting about these statistics, Kevin, and how well FIU is doing in certain categories, comparing them to the rest in Conference USA, is that FIU has only played 8 games. Everyone else has played at least 9 so far, which, I mean, throwing in the statistics, FIU has 1 less game. In some cases, too, Kennesaw State and Delaware have both already played 10 games. That they're doing this well in specific categories with 1 less game to their total so far this season. Now, who would you say has been the unsung hero of this Panthers squad so far that you feel like is going to really break out when this CUSA stretch of the season starts?
That's a good question. I think the unsung hero for this team really has to be Britt Harris coming off the bench. I'll go into Britt Harris and Julian Mackey. Those 2 guys have been super fun to watch. Those are 2 spark plugs off the bench that FIU really didn't have great depth out of the bench in years past. And I think the depth on this team is so much better than it has been. And I think you know this just from looking at football, looking at baseball, looking at all these other mid-majors and group of 5 teams. You need depth. You need depth because you'll have a good starting 5, but you need to have depth behind it to make it work. And you need to have a good starting 11. You need to have a good starting 9. You need to have depth. And FIU men's basketball, thankfully, has been able to went into the transfer portal, brought a lot of Division I transfers, something that they didn't do at all last season. All their transfers last season were JUCOs and incoming freshmen. So got to be happy with what you brought in, and truly, I mean, it's been a blessing for this FIU team with those 2 guys, Harris and Mackey, 2 guys who are really good at 3-pointers, have a good 3-point percentage. Like, they've been good there. So nice spark plugs off the bench. Mackey does a little bit of everything. Britt Harris is a guy who's a little bit taller. You could even project him into the starting 5 alongside someone like Azadi Jackson, move Ashton to the bench, but I like what they've ran so far and can't complain.
I think a good example of that a good example that showcases the depth of this FIU team, Kevin, is in past years, the top scorer for FIU per game, regardless of win or lose, would be like Arturo Dean. This season, I mean, look, the top scorer per game for FIU really varies per game. It's either Larry, Stevenson, Williamson, Harris, Jackson, Debami. Like, it really varies between who ends up being the top scorer for today's game, because it feels like whoever wants to step up and have a major game for FIU in this system, it allows for that. So whoever wants to be the star per game as far as scoring, or maybe even being the top rebounder, although Stevenson has been locking that down pretty reliably for FIU so far this season. And as far as assists goes, it's been either Jackson or Mackey. So we'll have to wait and see on that department. But yeah, I think this team's depth, Kevin, is better than it has been in years. And that's going to be a great thing when you have to throw all your chips on the table in some of these conference games to get higher in the standings and hopefully a better spot in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's night and day different. I'm really excited to watch this conference stretch of the season. I'm excited for this game. Don't get me wrong, but I'm very excited for the conference stretch because FIU could go into it with, I mean, look at the schedule right now. I mean, you've got Miami. We'll see what happens there. So you could be 5-4. We'll chalk it as a loss. Who knows what I'll predict. And then you win the next 2. You're 7-4 going into conference play. FIU, I want to say, only won 10 games last season. So 10 or 12 games. It wasn't a lot of wins last season for this FIU team. It was a really disappointing season.
How many wins?
They went 10-23 last season.
How many wins before the conference stretch of the season?
Well, that depends on what I predict, right?
2, 3. No, last season, I mean. Like, how many wins did they secure before they took on? Let me check real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So they have an exceptional shot of. I mean, they're only one win from matching their total, so more likely than not, they're going to surpass that. Hopefully by 2 wins.
And there was a point in the season where they lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight.
Sorry, so, how many straight? 6,
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. 6, 7.
Yeah, that the month of January was devastating for that FIU team last season.
And then they lost another 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. And then they lost 3 straight going into the tournament, which they somehow beat Western, and they kept it close against Jacksonville State. But I think this team's different. I don't think that'll be the case. Conference USA certainly lost some firepower too. Western Kentucky isn't what they were. Liberty isn't what they were. Kennesaw State's a really good team.
Yeah.
I think Delaware. CUSA State is always one of the better basketball conferences in college basketball, so I'm not too worried about it. I think CUSA always ends up showing up and showing out when it comes to this.
I don't know about Missouri State, but I do think Delaware is going to come in and really make some noise here in their first year. You don't think so?
No. Delaware's the worst team in Conference USA. It's not even close. They lost to a Division II school, Jake.
Is that right?
They're terrible. They are really bad. Like Delaware.
Any chance I can get to punk on Delaware for a second? I'm not mad about it. So please continue, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Delaware is currently 3-7 on the season. They lost to St. Joe. Oh no, they didn't. There's no
Wilmington. I think that's
lost to Bucknell. Right? They lost to Wilmington. They got killed by BYU. Beat St. Peter's. Lost to Southern Illinois. Beat UNC Greensboro. Now they've lost to Iona, Delaware State in overtime.
Oh, they lost to their rivals. Well, they lost to Delaware State, dude.
And then Missouri State, I don't think is very good at men's basketball either. I had seen some.
Kevin, you're not helping your case here with saying that CUSA is one of the most underrated mid-major conferences.
Well, for the teams that have already been around, they're 4-5. They're 4-5.
What? Could be better, could be worse, I suppose. Standings-wise, by the way, as far as records go, not that it really matters because again, no conference games have been played. But for what it is worth, FIU is currently 7th with a 5-3 over. Kennesaw State is 8-2, and then you have a bunch of teams at 6-3, being Liberty,
Mexico State, Western, Liberty, Sam Houston, and La Tech. Okay. Hey, man, a win against the Power Conference team, I think, would be the first in Conference USA this season. So,
hey, more teams currently with winning records than losing records in the conference.
I'm telling you, CUSA is not that bad. CUSA ain't that bad.
Can you verify something, Kevin? Now that we have 12 teams in the conference, how is the tournament going to work? How many teams are not going to get in, or is everybody getting in? I
still think everyone gets in. I just think the top 2 seeds have a bye, is what I think. I'll have to ask. That's a good question. Maybe there is a team that doesn't get in.
Potentially, if they really want to throw things around. I don't know. Maybe we'll ask Manu, because Manu is really dialed up with what goes on in Huntsville. Considering I think he goes there every year too. So we'll have to.
Yeah, I guess he'll be covering the FIU game for us.
Yeah.
Unless one of us goes, but unlikely.
Could be. I mean, never say never, Kevin. So getting back into the Panthers. What would you say currently is the biggest thing they need to work on before they get into the CUSA stretch of the season? You mentioned at the start, Corey Stevenson being the team's leading rebounder is not great, considering what he's meant to do on this team. But aside from that, is there really a big part of this team that a little bit concerned about? Maybe free throw shooting you could throw in there potentially?
That's what I was going to say. The free throws they have made 132 free throws in 200 attempts.
That's ninth in CUSA, by the way. For free throw percentage.
That's not great.
Yeah.
Aside from that, man, I guess just that's a lot of it could be. You could say a lot of it could be mental. Let's I don't know. There's nothing. I think that's definitely one of them. I think the 3-point shooting could still be a lot better. It's better than last season, but it could still be a lot better. Rebounding, I think. Second chance points is something where they have struggled a little bit in this season. They need to take advantage of when they force a turnover. But overall, this team's done a lot better than before. And they're coming off an awesome 3-point shooting game, by the way, against Jacksonville.
Yes, they were lighting up.
I think it's the highest I was told it was the highest 3-point percentage since 2020. So that's all you need to know. So exciting times in the 305 for Jeremy Ballard, who's running on the final year of his contract. So he's kind of coaching for his future here at FIU.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin, I think he has an almost completely different staff around him as well. And this roster, like you mentioned, more than other years, Kevin, really handpicked. Every part of it was handpicked by JB and the rest of the squad. So far, can't complain too much. Obviously, a win against Florida National is not going to mean as much as a win against, I wouldn't even say Miami, against Liberty or New Mexico State, more down the line. Although, by the way, I did love all the coverage the Florida National game got on social media, by the way, just people fascinated with the international versus national matchup. A lot of big accounts post about it, just talking about how funny it sounded.
They call it like a rivalry game, which is pretty fun. Unfortunately, we're not playing FAU this year, which sucks, but
I think I was telling you this either in maybe we're just chatting or something. I feel like the biggest rival for FIU in basketball is probably Florida Gulf Coast, considering how often we play them either here or in Fort Myers.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is them, and who knows? We won't forget last 2 years ago when we were at that press conference. Jim Larinaga and Jeremy Ballard were very adamant about playing this game a lot more. So I'm not going to say that these are rivals because they're not, and that's one thing. FIU and the University of Coral Gables are not rivals at all in any sport. In any sport,
maybe soccer. Doesn't women's soccer play them? Or wait, no, I'm tripping. But
they do play each other. No, I'm not going to go there. Maybe in baseball, but like, not really, dude. Not really.
I think the fact
Florida Atlantic is FIU's lone rival in every sport.
That's what. Yeah, I would say that is
in men's basketball. You're gonna have to make the case that it's probably FGCU because you're not even playing them this year. And I would be fascinated to know what the future of that rivalry in basketball looks like because clearly they didn't schedule it for this year, and FIU would have gone to FAU this year for that one.
Glad they don't have to, honestly, because just don't like going to that barn, dude.
We're literally gonna go there in a couple of weeks.
It really is a barn too. For women's, yes.
No, for the Boca Raton Bowl, buddy.
Oh yeah. Well, barn is.
Rick will. Well, by the time this is out, Rick is already there.
Oh yeah. True. You ain't lying, Kev. So let's continue on here. Now, unfortunately, I think we're forced to talk a bit about this game being the Miami Hurricanes, Kevin. This is a team that obviously, since they got to that Final Four, they've been trying to replicate a season where they can potentially get back. Now they're going to have to do it with a brand new head coach. I think Miami did pretty good recruiting entering this season, Kevin. And the ACC, there are so many teams in the ACC and like basketball and baseball and stuff. There's like 17 or something. So, all the Cal teams, SMU, and you have Notre Dame there too, which unlike football, they are an actual conference member of the ACC. Regardless, what's the biggest part of Miami's game that you think the Panthers better get ready for, man?
Yeah, I think I was just kind of like looking a little bit. They have their big two, Malik Renaud, I think Renaud, transfer from Indiana. He was an all Big Ten honorable mentions in 2024, 2025. Like he's a good player, regardless. I mean, he leads the team in scoring. And then right behind him is Trey Donaldson, a Michigan transfer who is from the state of Florida.
Nice.
These are two Florida boys. Yeah, two Florida boys. So that's pretty cool. Renew from Miami and Donaldson from Tallahassee. So from Willie's neck of the area. They currently find themselves as the fourth highest scoring offense in the conference, in the ACC.
Yeah.
They allow the fifth least amount of points in the conference. And they're the best shooting team in the conference. So that's not great for FIU. 3-point percentage wise, they are number 5. Free throws, they're actually really bad. Wow, 16th in the conference in free throws.
There are 18 schools in the ACC. Holy, that is a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the ACC.
So
combined rebounds, Miami averages 40.8 rebounds per game, which is 7th in the conference. And for reference, FIU, which I'm going to look for right now, averages 40.3. So just as much rebounds as Miami. So that'll be very just 0.8. So 0.5 more than Miami. Less than Miami. Sorry. Turnover margins, Miami is 9th. So I would say it's a pretty even matchup when it comes to just like looking at those base numbers. Miami has size, obviously. Renu is 6'9", and then Donaldson is kind of their point guard, so he's 6'3", but he's a good player, man. He's a really good player. They've got size. You've got True Washington, who's a good player. Like, Miami's a good team, man. There's no doubt about it. I'm curious. Do you think this team is better than the one FIU played 2 years ago? I mean, they had Omar Noshan. They had Cleveland on that team. Like, they had a really good squad. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
I'm going to lean slightly towards this current Canes team being a tad bit worse than what we saw from the last couple of seasons, including coaching-wise. Obviously, you can't beat what Coach L has done for this Canes team for 20, 30 years or something, like for as long as he's been here. I might be stretching that a little bit, but this is still a very hungry Canes team. I think, like FIU, has a lot of depth as far as playmakers who can go in and sort of take over a night. By the way, the Canes do not turn the ball over often, only 11.8, which is 14th in the ACC, which is a good thing. For comparison, I think FIU gives up 12 turnovers a game, which is middle of the pack in CUSA. There's actually quite a bit of stats overall that both teams are kind of even in, Kevin. They both have the second most assists in their respective conferences. As far as steals go, the Canes are third in the ACC with total steals. Blocks, however, is a different story. This team does not block that often. 12th in the ACC in that department, only 3.7 per game. So FIU, for comparison, 5.5, which is nice, which is very nice. A nice defensive stat for them. So, but I say that, Kevin, even statistics, but completely different conferences to compare it to. Comparing CUSA. Look, I don't care if CUSA is an underrated mid-major conference. The ACC is a powerhouse in college basketball. There's no denying that, I think. So,
yeah, 100%. I mean, you've got Duke, which not only won the ACC in football, but they are very likely going to win it in basketball.
Yeah.
FSU lost to UMass. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, yes. Crazy.
So that was definitely something. Then you've got, Virginia Tech is really good. Wake Forest is really good. Louisville's a solid team. SMU, I'm pretty sure, is good. Like, they've got good teams. There's no doubt about it. So Miami's definitely up there. They're one of the powerhouses of the ACC, or they're trying to be one of the powerhouses of the ACC. But I will say this: if FIU played Miami last year, they would 100% would have won, I think.
So, Kevin, there's only one more question I have left to ask you. This will be probably the penultimate time I'll get to ask this question in 2025.
Oh, 20, yes. 20,
yeah.
Well, unless we're doing that.
Win! Question asked on the show. I can't run a segment because there's no EA college basketball
We'll
video
just say
game.
the sense that FIU wins.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think they're working on that, by the way, Kevin. In a couple of years.
Yeah, but not every team's going to be in it. Not every team's going to be in it.
Stupid. I hope CUSA at least gets in. Yeah, they should.
Maybe Liberty gets in there.
Potentially. I know in the MLB games, they're adding more college teams into the MLB games for what it's worth. Alrighty then. Who's winning this game? Between FIU and UCG. If it is FIU, who's your player of the game? If it's not, tell us how much you hate Miami.
Well, I hate Miami a lot. I don't like them. It's always going to be Kings down. Unfortunately, I still think the Canes are losing. FIU is going to win this one by final score 75-69. Player of the game, Corey Stevenson, legacy game. He's putting his name on the map for this one.
That is a great prediction, Kevin. And I hate to tell you.
Can we do it together before you predict Miami's going to win?
What? What? Okay, sure. But here's the thing, Kevin. Here's the thing. You seem very confident I'm going to be picking Miami when that is not the case. I'm taking the Panthers as well by a final score of 72-67. And that is my prediction.
Can we need to remake the GIF.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Yes. You realize how much that's going to pop off if FIU does win that? You saw how well our tweet did in that baseball game when
Can we find a tweet?
Yeah, when
any win against Miami is a good win.
Yes, but that video that we recorded, Kevin, after the baseball game when everyone was leaving, popped off beyond popping off. Kevin, I remember. I now
want to find it.
Yes,
we'll talk about it after the stream. But yes, I do.
You'll need to dig deep. But yes, so
yeah. Alrighty, let's wrap it up.
Alrighty, so FIU's bringing radio to this, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it'll be Corey Brooks and Alejandro Solana.
Okay, I like it.
And then for whoever wants to listen to it on TV, it'll be Kyle Seeloff. So it'll be a very familiar voice for Miami Marlins fans.
So that's equally parts amazing and relatable to you, Kevin. Getting to hear Seeloff. He'll be like, Kevin, what is up, my Marlins friend?
That will probably be not exactly what he says, but along those lines.
Okay. Tuesday, December 16th, 7 o'clock. Coral Gables is the place. I'm sure you could probably hawk a ticket out front for like very cheap. If you are interested in going to this game, which I recommend you should, just like we saw a ton of FIU people go to the last game at the Watsco Center. ACC Network Extra, which is an ESPN Plus thing. So you'll need that. And I think you'll also need to connect like a TV service that has access to ACC Network to your ESPN Plus account. Throw that all together, and then you'll be able to watch this game if you can't make it. But I recommend you do if you can. So next home game, like I mentioned, versus LIU at the bank. Oh, I should probably mention women's soccer as well because they're not doing too shabby, Kevin. 4-3, not too bad. This game against Florida Atlantic is, well, at time recording, it's also during this, but they got the Holiday Classic coming up. Youngstown State, the Penguins, on Friday the 19th, and then FAU again on the 20th of December. So that's your basketball. What you got to know. Final thoughts before we close out here, Kev?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it all. We have a lot of content coming up. Our bowl preparation, I feel like it's on hold because of how much we have to wait for this game, but we're getting there. I'm sure you'll have your preview. I'll have mine. We'll have some content. We'll be at Boca Raton for that bowl game, which
FIU should be at, but you know what? I'm not gonna.
Can't complain. We'll get to watch some former Panthers at it though. JoJo Evans. We'll have Jordan Garrod, Nair Jackson. So some former Panthers for the Louisville Cardinals, and we'll face Toledo, who will have a new head coach.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's the Mercer head coach, not going there. Jason Candle, who was the head coach, went to UConn. So that'll be a very interesting bowl game, but we'll get to watch Miller Moss. So that'll be pretty cool. It's a team that did beat Miami. So can't complain. But yeah, no, a lot of content coming from us. Hopefully we'll get back on the podcast stuff soon. We're working to get some guests. One of them,
pretty big one too. A pretty topical one, if you ask me.
A pretty awesome guest who we could probably get as early as Thursday potentially if everything works out. So hopefully we'll find out soon. But yeah, hopefully the next episode of the Paws podcast is on Thursday, talking some FIU football.
I'm excited for two things about that Boca Bowl, Kevin. Number one, the crappy barbecue that they give us there at the press.
I'm not eating that. I'm telling you. Last time
the cakes at halftime hit though. They do hit.
Those do. Yes, those do. But I will not. I told myself I will be either bringing my own food, or I will be having something out, maybe Las Patas, or we'll be going somewhere beforehand.
Or after we can pull what we did last time. Go to that pizza place we went to.
It's a 2 p.m. game. It's an early game. So
yeah, it's nice. Number two, by the way, I finally get to see a guy that carried my fantasy team in person. Wide receiver Chris Bell for Louisville, who absolutely carried my fantasy.
Are you going to thank him?
I might be like, hey yo, you took me to the playoffs, Chris Bell. You're a goat in my eyes. I think he's injured. Actually, unfortunately, he tore his ACL in the regular season finale. He'll still probably be there in person though. Hopefully. It should be a good one. It just makes me sad because I wish FIU was in this game. And we could like drive up there, go to it in person. I digress. There'll be more time to complain about that during the Paws Up preview, which will drop 23rd, which is
the game.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
By the way, I think I am going to be on in the coming days a UTSA podcast as a guest. Want to make sure I get this information correct. They were very lovely people talking to the Hail Married podcast. And by the way, married as an MARY comedy, but married as in it's a husband and wife hosting that podcast for UTSA, by the way. They were very lovely people. Had a lot of fun talking to them. I think they're going to drop this. It might already be out by the time this goes live. Anyway, just talking some Panther talk like we love to do here. All right, now let's actually wrap this up because go to the Watsco Center and go watch FIU pull off a big upset. All righty, till next time.